Yes, you are here. You're listening to, I hope, the Views Express. You're in the right place for a no-holds-barred show. If you want the fluff, want the warm and fuzzy, want the show to be like what you want it to be, two things. First, don't listen to this show. I hope you do, because you'll get a lot of information from it. But if you want the host to say or do whatever it is you want said and done, create your own show at Spreaker.com and do whatever you want. Go to Spreaker.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see plans, get the one that best suits your needs, and have at it. That's a no-holds-barred show, folks. I'm going to tell you that if people are stupid, people are stupid. That's just the way it is. Hey, I put up something that you really, really need to hear, okay? You really need to hear this, okay? Seriously. You'll see it on my on the public page. It says Pastor Lindsey Williams, Alex Jones Show. Go check that out. It is very, very important that you do. Please, please do. If you're on the website for the Liberty and Freedom Network over on Wix.com, please go to Spreaker.com, the Views Express Live, and check out Pastor Lindsey Williams, Alex Jones Show. You will not regret ever hearing that. Okay? It is something that you really, really need to hear. I want to thank you all for being here. You want to email me, Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. We're looking for you. Oh, not in a bad way. If you have articles or anything that you want to share, go ahead and just email them to us. If you have something to say, please send that as well. Or go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Say it there. It's okay. It's all right. Hey, I'm here today on the 9th of October 2012 with my water and my M&Ms. I'm good. What about you? It's all right. It's one of those days. I'm let's put it this way, passively chaotic. I don't know if you want to label me that. But I'm good. I'm good. I'm looking at the people that follow this show, and I'm wondering why they don't show up in my chat room on Spreaker. That's kind of an interesting question. Maybe they just want to click follow because they want, people to follow them. I've got over 3,100 followers on Spreaker now. If you don't like this show, unfollow me. If you don't want to listen to the truth and get the facts, because I'm going to give you websites and links to go look it up yourself, unfollow me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is no holds barred. You're going to get it right between the eyes. You don't like the truth, you don't need to be here. I'm just telling you. So there you go. We got a lot coming up in the next few weeks. I've got a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot. I've only got 3 guests this month. I'm working on getting more. But when I come back from the break, I will let you know who they are, and then we will get into the news and all of that. So you're listening to the Views Expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host, Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. Thank you for coming to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com, broadcasting live from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, in FEMA Region 9. Yes. We got a lot to go through today. I have been doing some research, as I do almost every day. Want you folks to go check out HR 6566. I was on Michael Vera's show last night, Late Night in the Midlands, and as I was reading some of this to him on air, my spidey senses went off. Something not quite right about this. I marked down a couple of notes. Homeland Security Act of 2002 to require the administrator of Federal Emergency Management Agency to provide guidance and coordination for mass fatality planning and for other purposes. What are those other purposes? Okay, that's one of the things. The other thing is, in Section 1 where it says, or Section 2 where it says findings, in subsection 2 it says funeral homes and cemeteries and mortuaries could be overwhelmed should mass fatalities arise from a natural disaster, act of terrorism, or other man-made disaster. My spidey sense went off and thought, false flag event? Down here in section 3, where it says preparedness for mass fatalities resulting from a natural disaster, act of terrorism, or other man-made disaster, it says section 504 of the Homeland Security Act of 2002, 6, United States Code 314 is amended by adding at the end of the following new subsection. It says preparedness for mass fatalities. And it says, in carrying out this section, the administrator shall provide guidance to and coordinate with appropriate individuals, including representatives from different communities, private sector businesses, non-profit organizations, and religious organizations, to prepare for and respond to natural disaster, act of terrorism, or other man-made disaster that results in mass fatalities. My third spidey sense went off. Nonprofit organization, churches, and religious organizations. My thought was, are they planning on suppressing our religious freedom? Interesting. Considering that there are Muslim Brotherhood members in Washington, D.C. and the White House, why wouldn't they? Hey, a little follow-up on some news. I should say some guests. This Friday, October 12th, we have Mr. Peter Kling on our show on that day. And Peter Kling, he uses science in biblical prophecy. Yes, something unheard of in these days. And he looks at every little thing to see what it's all about. I myself personally, I've talked to him in emails before and on Facebook, and to me, I am going to wake up on December 22nd, 2012, so I don't have to worry about the Mayan calendar. But who knows? There's this thing called self-fulfilling prophecy. Who knows, you know? Anyway, what that means is that the government, like the Nazi Germany back in the 30s, were flying over the city and throwing out leaflets with Nostradamus quotes on it, and really telling the people, Hitler was telling people through his speeches that, well, he was following up on those things and saying, this is what we need to do. You know what I mean? So, we'll be talking to Peter Kling that day. You can go to peterkling.com as well. October 19th, I will have the one and only, a great talk show host in herself over on the Liberty Radio Network, Angel Clark from The Angel Clark Show at radiofreedom.us. I will have her on for a half hour on Friday, October 19th. Come check that out. I will also have on October 26th, that would be a Friday, on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, we will have Marie D. Jones back for a conversation. I don't know how long she'll stay. Probably an hour, but that's okay. So that's Peter Kling, October 12th this Friday, Angel Clark, October 19th next Friday, and Marie D. Jones, October 26th. Come check out those shows. Someone is in the Spreaker chat. It would be Paranormal Phil. Been missing you a few days. I know you've been busy. But hey, we are going to get onward and upward with this news. Again, a little disclaimer. If you don't like the show, unfollow me. I've got over 3,100 followers on my Spreaker page, and not all of them are showing up in the chat room. I don't know if the chat room can handle 3,100 people, but they obviously have not heard the show. Okay. Several people, a handful of people maybe show up in the Spreaker chat, like Paranormal Phil. He's there, thank you. But What's up with 3,100 followers and hardly anybody showing up in the chat room? You know what I'm saying? If you don't like the show, unfollow me. It's that simple. You know, you may not agree with me. You may be yelling at your computer screen. You may be wanting to, send me nasty email, which you can do that. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. It doesn't really matter. We can still disagree with one another and still go out to karaoke or have a drink or something. You know what I mean? You don't like what I say, you don't have to listen. Okay? Yeah, it's that simple. Seriously. Okay? So, and I'm sure Phil gets gets some people in his chat room over at PRT Paranormal Talk and here on Spreaker and on Euron.net. I'm sure he gets a handful of those people as well that come in and just want to start crap. You know what I mean? I look at it this way. If you don't want to get the information to try to save yourself and your family, and I'm giving you the links and all of that to go look that up, I don't feel sorry for you. I just hope you enjoy your stay at the Gray Bar Motel called the FEMA Re-Education Camp near you because, hey, I'm trying to help. Okay? Just letting you know. Just letting you know. I'm having a good day. It's the 9th of October, 2012. Okay? And we are...
Pay attention, son.
We are here in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, in FEMA Region 9. And California has had, and Phil, please let me know, because I'm hearing all sorts of reports from Southern California. Gasoline in Southern California, a friend of mine was just there on her vacation and said that gas was $5.39 a gallon. And just the other day, we went out here in Reno, Nevada, where I live, and gas was $4 something a gallon. Like $4.15 or something like that. And it was ridiculous. Well, it goes up during an election year anyway. Daryl Dillard is in the Spreaker chat. Hello there, Daryl. Let me remind you, for those that just showed up, I have guests coming up this Friday. I have Peter Kling. He makes his presence known over on LateNightInTheMidlands.com. On that show with Michael Vera. I was on it last night. Go to blogtalkradio.com. Look under LNM Radio Network or LateNightInTheMidlands.com. And you'll see on the right-hand side the Blog Talk Radio player, and you'll just hit last night's show, and I'm on it for the first hour. I was honored because of the fact that after I came on, Dr. Jerome Corsi was on, and because I was in the middle of doing some research, I wasn't able to stick around while he was on. So that I'm so glad he was on too, because I have a great deal of respect for him. We have Peter Kling on the show this Friday. Next Friday, we have Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us. We have her on. It's going to be a jam-packed month, man, because get prepared is all I can say. All right? That's all I can say. Let's go over to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Go check that out. We have a lot of stuff over there. Yeah, gas here has been over $4 a gallon. In Southern California, it was almost $5.50 a gallon. I know in Stockton, where I grew up, or in Sacramento and all the San Joaquin Valley and Sacramento Valley, it's well over $5 a gallon, I think. It's getting ridiculous. And again, for those that just showed up, if you go to Spreaker.com, look under The Views Expressed Live, you will see a clip that I had put up there from the Alex Jones Show, and it's Pastor Lindsey Williams. Please, 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 I recommend you go hear that. Please. Very informative. Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. The first thing I want to put that I put up there that I want to talk about is from streetsblog.net. And it's from Angie Schmidt, who obviously has no clue whatsoever what she's talking about. So I'm just going to put it out there. Absolutely no clue. Okay? Wow. I just checked with the Spreaker chat, and Paranormal Phil said that in some places in Riverside, California, it's $4.68. And gasoline in LA is where it is $5.39. Holy moly, mother of pearl. Take a second mortgage out on your already underwater home just to buy gas. Okay. Anyway, back to streetsblog.net. Angie Schmidt doesn't know what she's talking about when she says Agenda 21 conspiracy theory, completely absurd, frighteningly, it's frighteningly effective. Yeah, that's the word. I get so excited, my lips just don't want to work. My brain is engaged, my lips they're not working right. Anyway, let me gear you to something. Agenda 21 is a United Nations referendum which literally says they're going to take over the United States of America in everything. Your waterways, your cars, your highways, you name it, there it is. Now, little side note, how do you take over a country? You slowly implement certain things, such as DHS being on the street with TSA, checkpoints, you name it, all of that, to get you, the citizens, acclimated to having military on the streets. Okay? Then you come in and say, well, we need to do this and we need to do that. Okay? And you clandestinely change things behind the scenes to where you have how can I put this? Undeclared martial law. And once you have that, you create a false flag event, and then it puts you into martial law. Snap, there you go. The United Nations, for a long history of how they came about, the League of Nations, and then later became the United Nations, with the donation of land by the Rockefellers in New York, where it sits now. Then you have the United Nations coming in with Agenda 21. Look that up. Agenda 21 goes back a long way. And they will take your waterways, everything, and control, you name it. They'll control it. Angie Schmidt here just absolutely thinks that's a bunch of hogwash. And I'm going to tell her right now, you're a bunch of hogwash. I cannot emphasize strongly enough to go look and read Agenda 21. You can put it in your search engine. United Nations Agenda 21 PDF. Read that, because that way you can download it and save it if you like. Angie says, when it comes to Agenda 21, you've got to at least give the far right credit for effective messaging. The Agenda 21 conspiracy theory was popularized, there we go, that word, see, brain engaged, mouth not working. Popularized by the great fearmonger and overpriced gold salesman Glenn Beck, inventing this scourge to American freedom really took some imagination, turning an obscure decades-old UN environmental resolution into a global green menace, mobilizing Tea Party members to pack public meetings in Maine, Virginia, Tennessee, and elsewhere. Richard Lehman at network blog Rebuilding Place in the Urban Space says that proponents of government-enforced sprawl and subsidized fossil fuel consumption are remarkably organized around this issue, and they're beating the Agenda 21 drum in almost every place across the country that's getting serious about a more livable future. You can read his little blurb about that when you click on the link on Liberty and Freedom Network. Going on to the bottom of the article, also of note, the Southern Poverty Law Center, a nonprofit group that tracks hate groups and domestic terrorists, has been tracking the Agenda 21 movement, noting its ties to extremist groups. Elsewhere in the network today, Greater Washington explains why legislation that will allow second ancillary buildings in places zoned for single-family housing is meeting opposition. The Greater Philadelphia Bicycle Coalition announces that the city of brotherly love is considering complete streets legislation. A streets.mn shares a study that attempts to measure the value of accessibility to destinations. Cruising down through the comments, I found one quite interesting. From a person calling themselves Monkey. I know. He says, and I quote, "This article is the biggest pile of poo I have ever read. To call Agenda 21 a conspiracy theory demonstrates that the creator of this article is either working for these elite pigs or is just an idiot. I live in Britain, and I can see all over the country how this agenda is being slowly implemented, as my country is being devastated by the destruction of our economy and constitution, by our country, but our country has lived beneath the tyranny which is being visited on the U.S. for hundreds of years. That's why we are so poor. That's why I can't get dental treatment. That's why our entire medical system is in disarray. You Americans don't have a clue how good you have had it for so long. But you're going to find out soon if you don't stop it in its tracks, and your children really will wake up in a similar prison state. We have more cameras watching us than other nations." I suppose the creator of this article would say that the British global warming scientists who were caught lying their heads off about the climate change crap is a conspiracy theory too, even though it's now accepted historical fact. 70% of our laws are now made by non-elected European bureaucrats, and they are killing off the British culture. But I suppose that fact is just a conspiracy theory too. Oh, there's other comments there. Go check it out. Click on the link on Liberty and Freedom Network. Paranormal Phil says, in the Spreaker chat, Governor Brown, or Moonbeam Brown as he is called, is saying he wants to open up winter blend gas, which they are saying will only drop gas prices 20 cents. I don't know what Daryl is saying, but that's okay. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Speaking of gas prices, that dovetails right into this article from our own Reno, Nevada, KOLO Channel 8 News Now. From Las Vegas, the Associated Press. Excuse me, I had to get some water. Las Vegas. The Associated Press says northern Nevada gas prices shoot up along with California. Nevada's average gas price is $3.93 per gallon after northern city prices shot up in line with California, and southern cities trailed far behind. Really? AAA says Tuesday that some northern Nevada metropolitan areas supplied by California saw their fuel prices jump 24 cents in a single week. So if they drop it 20 cents, it's only going to be, the price hike is blamed on a power outage at an ExxonMobil refinery in Southern California. Oh, how convenient. The average gas price in Sparks is $4.28 per gallon, while in Reno it stands at $4.24, and Carson City gas averages $4.22. Meanwhile, Las Vegas gas costs $3.77 per gallon. North Las Vegas gas averages $3.73. Nevada's average gas price is 12 cents up from a month ago and 33 cents up from a year ago. The state's average price ranks 10th in the nation. Isn't that wonderful? I analyze this. By the way, I give all credit to Associated Press for this article. But I want to analyze this for a minute and just kind of break it down and hopefully get people to understand one thing. And it's real simple. We pay at the pump. Now, what I mean by that is that money goes to not the refineries, not to pay the people that work there. No. It goes to the elites who have funneled their money through these gas companies, through the 6 major banks. But that's not all. And for more about that, please go check out Lindsey Williams' interview with Alex Jones today. There's a huge amount of information out there proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the gas prices we pay at the pump are related to the result of what's happening in the Middle East. There's more evidence out there from European papers that say that, it was an outage at ExxonMobil. No. These refineries have backups, okay? It's not an outage. Have you ever cruised down to your local, gas station or convenience store with gas pumps and seen the red bag over the handle? It doesn't mean anything other than the fact that they're running low on fuel and their shipment hasn't come in yet. It has nothing to do with the pump not working either, okay? It's just gas prices are going sky high because, one, you and I are allowing it. And two, the elites want a barrel of oil to go to $150 a barrel before they, let's just say, pull the rug out from under our feet. Okay? Go check out prophecyclub.com because that's Lindsey Williams' page. That's the official page. He has he has some CDs for sale. Secrets of the Elite. He lived with them for 3.5 years up in Alaska during the Alaska pipeline construction. He knows, and he has an elite friend, former CEO of one of the biggest petroleum companies in the world, that tell him things. Okay? But I think you and I, being as smart as we are, can figure it out on our own just by watching everything around us. And if we have some inside information, that doesn't hurt either. Okay? Or you can go to a fan page for Lindsey Williams. Yeah, I know it's a fan page. It's lindseywilliams.net. Okay? So check that out. And listen to the interview he had with Alex Jones today. Awesome. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, I want to get the information out, and I'm sure you want to hear it, and I'm sure you want to get the information out. But I sometimes have to sit back and go, who's actually taking this information that I'm giving, that I'm talking about, and actually going and researching the stuff that I'm talking about? I've known this crap. I've known what's been happening since high school, and that was over 35 years ago, folks. I graduated in 1980. I began to study this stuff during the Carter administration. Remember his debacle in Grenada? I began to study this. I began to look at false flag events. I began to look at certain things that were happening back then. And back then, when I looked into this stuff, folks, 2 plus 2 didn't add up to 4, I'm telling you. Something was fishy. Back then, I didn't know what it was, but now I can say my little spidey senses went off. I was a teenager. I'm sitting around in class with people going, how do you spell enumerated? They don't know. I was far ahead of everybody else in class. And people were looking at me going, why are you studying all that? Well, it's part of history. Why not? I would tell the history teacher that the history book was wrong. And they're going, wow, really? And I would show them, yes, here's the actual factual truth behind this. And they're like, oh, okay. They don't know. This was 78, 79, folks, okay? When I was in high school, all right? It's incredible how stupid people really are. Uninformed, uneducated. That's what I mean. Stupid. Okay? But you really need to break out of that trance and get your mind focused on what is happening around you. If your news on your TV and on your cable system says one thing and something in you says, that ain't it, and something just doesn't feel right, chances are it's not right. It's a big chance it's not right. So go out and investigate it, research it. You really want to protect your family. I think you're obligated to, obviously, but you really need to find the information that you can use to be able to protect your family. I saw a YouTube video, a message to the United States from Spain. It's on my YouTube channel. I'll put the YouTube channel in the Spreaker chat. But I saw this video, and it's like 8 minutes long, and it has voiceovers from Judge Napolitano and somebody else, I can't remember who it was. But it shows the police beating people with batons, and some of those people were fighting back. This is in Spain, folks. It's happening in Germany. It's happening in France right now. It's happening in Lisbon. It's happening all over the place. But I don't see it here. Why? Because we believe the Kool-Aid and all of that. We drink the Kool-Aid and believe the propaganda coming off of our TVs. And we need to break out of that trance. Okay? Now, I just put the YouTube link in the Spreaker chat, and if that link doesn't work, please let me know. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. When I come back from break, I am going to read you an article. DHS to start testing drones over U.S. for, quote-unquote, public safety. Really, folks? Really? For public safety? Really? While you're on YouTube, go look up Drinking with Bob. If you don't know who that is, go check it out. Oh my goodness. You think I rant? Woo. Yeah, I like him. But anyway. Come back, I'll read you that article. I'll read you some more. Give you my breakdown on it. So this is the views expressed for the 9th of October 2012 on the Liberty and Freedom Network on Spreaker.com. Calvin Wheeler is an American dreamer in a triple threat cage match with his two biggest adversaries, everyday life and himself. His marriage to the woman he believed to be his soulmate is rapidly evaporating before his eyes. The book he's been working on for over a decade is slipping through his fingers as he struggles to complete it. As these pressures grow, Calvin compensates by conjuring up outrageous road rage scenarios in the multiplex of his mind. To make matters even worse, he drives for a living. As his life, job, and dreams simultaneously implode, his wild fantasies begin to literally bleed over into reality. Now, with a gun in one hand and a steering wheel in the other, this distant runner-up in the human race feels empowered for the very first time. And the moral to the story? Traffic can be murder. Red Asphalt by Scott Cherney. Available on the Kindle and in paperback at Amazon.com. It's New York, February 6, 1964. The Beatles are making their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in one more day. The Plaza Hotel is crazy with the preparations. Alex Frazier, a desk clerk, has secretly let his brother Freddie use the penthouse suite for the evening so he can wine and dine the girl of his dreams. What Alex and Freddie don't know is the Secret Service are using the same room to hide spy novelist Henry Lade. His most recent novel has attracted the attention of the Soviets and East Germans. The communist countries believe Lade may have secretly discovered their plot to bomb Fresno. Assassins are dispatched to kidnap or kill Lade, whichever is easiest. What Agent John Parker and Henry Lade don't know is the Beatles are staying in the same room for their first appearance on American television. Let's Get Laid by Thomas Amo, available on the Kindle at Amazon.com.
Less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
This is the views expressed right here for the 9th of October 2012. You're listening to this on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Short segment here before the top of the hour. And we want to get right into these articles over at Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Yes, I also have a website associated with this show, so check it out over there if you're not already over there. There's a book called Many Directions a Man. It's over on the right-hand side of the front page there. Buy it, please, because that helps keep the website up and the show going. Also on the left-hand side, we have a couple of links. It's a store and donate. So if you want to go to the store and promote your patriotism, please do. If you don't, then donate, because all it does is keep the website up and the show going. There you go. So let's go over to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook and talk about what's on on.rt.com. DHS to start testing drones over U.S. for public safety. Isn't that, I mean, they all say that, it's for public safety. I don't want to get into this completely until after the break, but I will say this. You better start watching for them, okay? It was written by, I'm going to give credit to RT. Someone over there at RT wrote this. It's also, there's a printable version for it. Click on the link on Liberty and Freedom Network. It says, don't be surprised if you catch a federal fleet of sneaky spy drones soaring over your head in the near future, but don't be too terrified. It's all in the name of public safety. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is asking the makers of small unmanned aerial vehicles to submit their crafts for consideration as the agency ramps up the construction of a full-fledged surveillance state across America. The DHS plans to soon conduct drone tests over Fort Sill, Oklahoma, U.S. Army base, and they're already soliciting spy planes from the private sector so they can select what kind of UAV to use. According to a request for information published on the Federal Business Opportunities website recently, the DHS is determined to bring drone tests over the military base soon and is seeking submissions from drone makers that don't mind making a few bucks by having their products put into U.S. space to conduct sweeping surveillance. The Borders and Maritime Security Division of the DHS says, quote, will conduct... This is what the Borders and Maritime Security Division of DHS says. They will conduct flight testing and evaluation of airborne sensors and small unmanned aerial systems, unquote, the request reads, and now invites vendors to submit drones to be tested, quote, under a wide variety of simulated but realistic and relevant real-world operation scenarios, unquote. The solicitation says that drones will be evaluated to see how well they perform law enforcement operations and conduct search and rescue missions, but once a craft is handed over to the DHS, then the details will be put under lock and key. Specifically, the call for work says, quote, the information within each test report will be classified as for official use only and will not be shared with the general public, unquote. Basically, build it and it's ours. That's what it is. Continuing, given that the department has already addressed the issue of acquiring drones to give DHS a better eye of the domestic doings, though those law enforcement operations in question could very well transcend away from the legitimate uses and quickly cause civil liberty concerns from coast to coast. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano no relation to Andrew Napolitano, the judge. She told a House committee panel in July that the DHS was, quote, looking at drones that could be utilized to give us situational awareness in a large public safety matter or disaster, unquote. And the next piece of the puzzle is already being put into place. With their latest solicitation, the DHS acknowledges that it is specifically testing a, quote, robotic aircraft for public safety, unquote, but the components necessary to be considered suggest that any drone adopted by the agency will be brought in for sweeping surveillance. The solicitation request requires that all drones be equipped with electro-optical infrared sensors, as well as the technology to sniff out certain chemicals from thousands of feet from above. The UAV must also have an integrated laser designator, can be hand-launched by a single person, and must be able to be remotely managed by a pilot with only 1 day of training. The Federal Aviation Administration is working towards putting the finishing touches on the rules and regulations for widespread domestic drone use, and the agency expects as many as 30,000 UAVs will be in America's airspace by the decade's end. Okay? Do you understand what's happening here, people? You ain't getting away with anything. As my grammar goes to crap. You're not going to get away with anything. They're going to have drones all over the place. Check out the movie They Live. You will find that movie very interesting. They Live with Roddy Piper. Yes. Anyway, let me tell you something and be very specific here before the top of the hour. This is in no way for your safety, period. Period. No way is this for your safety. Oh, it's for search and rescue. We have to assess the situation, and it just cost us too much to send planes up, so we got to fly the drones around. Yeah. It's not for your safety. And by the way, have you seen the drones they've used in Afghanistan and Iraq? Yeah, those things within minutes, if not hours, they can be armed. Okay? Seriously. All right. I don't like it. Do you? I don't like the fact that drones are going to be flying over the United States. You know, people say, well, geez, if you're thinking that, if you're asking that, then geez, what's the point in even starting a business or doing anything to try to, stay entrepreneurial? Why go to work? Why not just stay home? Let me tell you something. The more that you do to stop this, the better off you're going to be. I mean, I know this. I've known this since, the late 70s, early 80s. I knew that something had to be done. I remember in I believe it was 86, when I was living in California. I knew, talking to my friends then, they were saying, well, that's never going to happen. The government has to, keep us safe and all this. They wouldn't do that against us. Yeah? Really? Seriously? In 1994, I talked to a friend at Christian Life Center. One of my friends was working there. And him and I both saw the articles that stated the technology behind biometrics. IBM and Bank of America were both working on biometric security for your account. And it's there today. Okay? Now, and we were saying, well, this isn't a conspiracy theory anymore, is it? And we both agreed it's not. Okay? We also saw the articles about your cable box on your TV or near your TV having a microphone in it, hearing everything that you say. Have you been on Facebook lately? You type something in there like, something, I like Volvo cars, and then you refresh the page and a couple of minutes later you see on the right-hand side an ad for Volvo. Have you seen that? Hello, people. This is not a conspiracy theory anymore. It is reality. And those drones flying around, 30,000 of them by 2015, according to some reports, they're going to be there to do one thing and one thing only. They're they're a safety mechanism in terms of, yes, they can track you on the cell phone. Yes, as of the information from the Telecommunications Act of 1996, they can track you. They have backdoors in your phones. They can track you. Why do you think they allowed GPS systems to go in your car? Why do you think they allowed OnStar to be put in your car? Why do you think they have apps on your iPhone or Android phone for GPS? They want to track you, and they can. Do you think the satellites up there that's giving you the GPS information is autonomous? No. The technicians can just download the information into their computer and know where you are. And if you're hiding, they're going to send a drone up and try to find you, because they're equipped with infrared cameras. So don't give me this crap anymore that any of this is conspiracy theory. Angie Schmidt, you're an idiot. Over there at that one, I want to pull out what hair I have left. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you people have to get a freaking clue. Angie Schmidt, you're an idiot over there at streetsblog.net. Do you know what's going on? Obviously not. You're too busy watching Justin Bieber or something. I'm sick and tired of people being ignorant, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you the information here for you to go look this stuff up. And if you have questions, hey, go look the stuff up. I don't have all the answers, and I could be wrong. So there you go. I'm okay with that. I'm fine. It's okay. I'm okay with that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Big deal. I'll be the first in line to admit it. But I'm not. But I'll be the first in line to admit it if I am. So there you go. Hey, this is the 9th of October, 2012. You're listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, and we are broadcasting on Spreaker.com. I'll be back. Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, and even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That VK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. What's the word on the street? There's only one place you can get that question answered. Mobster Boss Radio. How do you deal with people? Your questions and more will be answered on Mobster Boss Radio. Come join JD and Sonny and Lester on Mobster Boss Radio and find out what they think about the world around them. Go to www.mobsterbossradio.com.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Do you wear your sunglasses at night? Well, maybe you do some other crazy things too. Why not add The Sandy Fox Show to your list? You can find me on Spreaker.com, Icecast.org, and TuneIn.com. Fox out.
You're listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. This is the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network for the 9th of October, 2012.
Pay attention, son.
There's a lot of going on in our world today. There's a lot that you need to know. I am sharing with you the information that you need to know. I'm breaking it down, analyzing it. I give all credit where credit is due to the writers and all of the sites. It's their stuff. But I'm just breaking it down to help you understand and get the information. So I'm analyzing it and helping you understand. So that's all I'm doing. You are more than free to go and to these sites and look at it yourself and examine it and all that. That's fine. That's why I give it to you on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Okay? Please go over there. I also, on Liberty and Freedom Network, I send out a newsletter once a month, or maybe even twice or three times a month. If you want one, please send your information to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. And let me know you want the newsletter, and I'll send it out to you. All right? Cool. Also, if you're on the website, please check it out. I've got a book over there that I wrote called Many Directions a Man. It just talks about, what's going on in the world and some really deep issues and some possible solutions. That's all that is. Over on the left-hand side of the page, I've got a link to a store. You can promote your patriotism if you'd like and buy stuff at the store. I got mouse pads, I got cups, I got, you name it, I got it there. If you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, I have a donate button. You can donate as much as you like, and all that does is keep the page up and going, keeps the show going, and it keeps the information out there. So, enough of the shameless self-promotion. Let's get on with the show. Shall we? Shall we get on with the show? Shall we?
Pay attention, son.
We go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, and you will see a video that I put up. It's called A Message from Spain to the United States. Please check that out. Also, I put up a segment of the Alex Jones Show on Spreaker with Pastor Lindsey Williams was on the show today, and Alex Jones was interviewing him. That is a must-hear. Please go and check that out. I have something on here that I've got pictures mostly, so go check out the pictures. But I got one here that is very, very important when it deals with the economy and deals with money and deals with, you name it, deals with the New World Order. It says here, the man who changed Iceland's message to the world. We can too. It says here, the man who forced the government of Iceland to resign and kicked out the IMF representatives from his country, Hodur Torfarsson, is now teaching meta-modern democracy throughout Europe. The rest of the world would benefit from following the example set by Iceland, arresting the corporate bankers who are responsible for the current economic turmoil. Says in the article next to it, arrest the bankers from the man that started the revolution in Iceland, the man who forced the government of Iceland to resign and kicked out the IMF representatives from his country. Hodur Torfarsson is now teaching meta-modern democracy throughout Europe. The rest of the world would benefit from following the example set by Iceland, arresting the corporate bankers who are responsible for the current economic turmoil. There is a YouTube link there. Please check on that. And that's where the amazing story is. He says, full employment contributes above all to achieving human dignity. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. The true measure of a leader is not how many followers he has, but how many leaders he creates. That's why I said, man, 3,100 followers on my show. I want you guys to go out and do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not violently, not, all that. Just, take the information I have, research it, do what you can, figure it out on your own. I'm just analyzing this stuff for you, breaking it down for you to understand, and there you go. Okay? If we happen to meet somewhere and have to lead some other people to do something, we will peacefully. Okay? We'll do that. But, in the meantime, you're the leader. You're responsible. Okay? Continuing, too many people hold the idea that psychopaths are essentially killers or convicts. The general public hasn't been educated to see beyond the social stereotypes to understand what psychopaths can be entrepreneurs, politicians, CEOs, and other successful individuals who may never see the inside of a prison. The difference between bankers and the mafia is becoming increasingly indistinguishable. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself makes you fearless. Control your money and your money will control you. Change your attitude toward debt. Every time you use credit for a purchase, think debt is slavery. I'm making myself a slave. Quote, manipulators rarely advise you to seek new and diverse information or to, quote, learn and research for yourself, unquote. It tends to be safer for exploitative, there we go, that word, brain engaged, mouth not working really well, exploitative and irresponsible leaders to keep their citizens in the dark. Let me read that again. This is very important. It tends to be safer for exploitative and irresponsible leaders to keep their citizens in the dark. In their view, less independent thought is better. Independent thought leads to an inquiring mind, a mindset that eventually leads to the questioning of authority figures, and that is the one thing that inadequate leaders do not want. Governments have never existed to solve problems domestic or international. Governments and their institutions exist merely to further and secure the interest of favored groups, but we the people are never the favored group. The financial crash in Iceland in 6 minutes, according to ABC's 2020. There's a YouTube link for that. Iceland Economic Crisis documentary. There's a YouTube link for that as well. And there's a bunch of links after that. So check it out. Please. Okay, please check that out because, it's very important that you do. Because I don't I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm at a loss for words at times. Okay, I'm at a loss for words. I got a picture up there of Obama under NDAA, the biggest election issue no one's talking about. The picture says, wins Nobel Peace, if I can speak, wins Nobel Peace Prize, signs NDAA. Let me read that one. That's just, it's incredible, really. It's just incredible. It says, you don't have to live alone in the woods reading issues of Guns and Ammo and co-writing your manifesto with beard lice to be terrified about the state of basic freedoms in America today. Given the counterterrorism provisions in the fairly recent National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, we currently live in a country where the government can pick up American citizens and detain them indefinitely without access to a lawyer or even a criminal trial. That means locked up forever without even the basic protections we afford to rapists and murderers. Side note, I'm going to interject this. Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid and Representative Dean Heller have signed on to the NDAA, all you citizens in Nevada. You are in trouble. Okay? You voted for the wrong people. Continuing, that can't be right, you say. Such a power would be completely unconstitutional. And you would be right. Even President Obama said he had serious reservations with certain provisions of the bill that regulate the detention, interrogation, and prosecution of suspected terrorists, unquote. And then he signed it anyway. But the point is not just to beat up on the president. After all, Governor Romney did that for 90 minutes in last Wednesday's debate without a single mention of these NDAA provisions. That's because the NDAA will persist under the Romney administration as well. That's right, regardless of who wins in November, your lingering notions of living in a country that is free and democratic can best be described as quaint or wrong. By the way, this is not a democracy. This is a representative republic. Look into history. People, please. Continuing, so, considering that this law alters our concept of what it even means to live in a democracy, why is no one talking about it? Why does no one seem to care? There are three major reasons, but first, let's talk about what the NDAA is. What is the NDAA? The primary role of the NDAA is to provide for the Defense Department's budget, which this year amounts to a cozy $662 billion. However, the NDAA contains counterterrorism provisions in sections 1021 and 1022 that allow the federal government to imprison any person, quote, who was part of or substantially supported al-Qaeda, the Taliban, or associated forces that are engaged in hostilities against the United States or its coalition partners, unquote, until, quote, the end of hostilities, unquote. You can read more. You can read more there because it does say read more. And obviously, we don't know exactly what the provisions are. I'd like to know, what are your provisions? And when you click on the link, it takes you to cracked.com. And the last part of that article, it says, so here we are in a tight election and none of the candidates or pundits are talking about the one issue that's at the heart of the role of government and our rights as citizens. Why? Okay? It's just why. We want to know why. We want the answers, and the government should tell us. Guess what? They're not, and they're not going to. It's bottom line. They're not going to. Why? They think they're above the law. They think they're above the Constitution. Several judges have said that the subsections 1021 and 1022 are unconstitutional, and have Judge Catherine Forrest put an injunction, a permanent injunction against those two subsections. The very evening she did that, a judge in Washington, D.C., on orders from the president, I'm going to presume he knows all about that, he forced a judge to go against Judge Forrest's, verdict. And now it's open again. People can be detained indefinitely. Again, let me say this, citizens of Nevada. You're all hyper and everything else about Dean Heller and Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid. They signed on to the NDAA. Okay? You get out of line anywhere, they'll indefinitely detain you. Okay? I mean, seriously. It's it's scary, folks. Yeah, I know people that have told me on the phone and emails to my face, they have told me, I don't want to think about it because I want to have a nice day. Okay. You go ahead. You go have your little, glass of whatever with the umbrella in it, and you sit looking at the streets and wondering what your day is going to be like. And in that moment, when you start seeing militarized police in the streets, you might just want to reconsider your nice day. Okay? I'm serious. I mean, it gets to the point where, I'm telling you, it gets to the point where you just want to scream. You just want to, yeah, you know, you want to go out and do something. But I do not condone violence. I never have and I never will. I do support defense. Here's the other side of that coin. If the opposition, and we know who they are, come against us in a violent way, we have no other choice but to defend ourselves, and if it gets violent, so be it. I was watching that video that's on Liberty and Freedom Network. Says here, a message from Spain to the United States of America. And you see the police beating the citizens, but you see some of the citizens fighting back. That's always a good thing. Oh, by the way, click on the link that says Cook County mulling violence tax on guns and ammunition. Okay? Chicago Sun-Times. Reporter Lisa Donovan over there at Cook County Reporter. Thank you there, Lisa. Going to break this down for my listeners to let you people know what's going on. Drawing on the ire of gun lobby, Cook County Board President Preckwinkle is eyeing a violence tax on guns and ammunition sold in the city and suburbs, the Chicago Sun-Times has learned. Such a tax alone wouldn't close the $115 million budget gap in 2013, but it could at least funnel money into the county's $3 billion operation, where roughly two-thirds of the budget pays for both the county's public health clinics and 2 hospitals, along with the criminal justice system that includes the courts and jail. Quote, if we were to pursue a tax on something like guns and ammo, clearly that wouldn't be popular with the gun lobby out there. It may not generate $50 million, but it is consistent with our commitment to pursuing violence reduction in the city and in the county, unquote, Kurt Summers, Preckwinkle's chief of staff, said on Monday. The idea is to curb the number of guns in circulation, he said, citing a report issued last summer showing that nearly 1/3 of the guns recovered on Chicago streets were purchased in suburban gun shops. Other statistics are more dire. Murders in Chicago are up 25% this year, according to a recent police statistics, and the county jail is filling up, with 9,000 plus inmates nearing the 10,155 capacity. Along with the tragic human toll, gun violence takes a toll on government coffers. Quote, it impacts law enforcement both at the city and county levels. It impacts the courtrooms, the public defender and the state's attorney that are in there, and the judges that are in there, and the clerk of the court that has to sit there, the sheriff's deputies that are in that courtroom, and it impacts the jail, the folks that are sitting there at $143 a day, unquote, he said, referring to the daily cost of keeping an inmate behind bars. Continuing, quote, wow. Quote, on top of that, if a person is shot and wounded, they end up more likely in a level 1 trauma center like Stroger Hospital, unquote, he said, of the main taxpayer-funded county hospital. The cost to treat a gunshot victim without insurance is pegged at $52,000, Summers says, and 70% of the gunshot victims don't have health insurance, he said. Just how much Preckwinkle would tax guns and ammunition is unclear, but consumers would be on the hook for it, with guns and ammunition dealers responsible for remitting the tax monthly to the county's revenue department. Back in 2007, then Cook County Commissioner Roberto Maldonado, now a Chicago alderman, pushed for a 10 cents a bullet tax and even proposed charging 50 cents before the proposal was ultimately shot down. But the gun lobby has vowed to push back hard on Preckwinkle's idea. Quote, "This is just another example of the blame game. Chicago and Cook County has a gun violence problem. Chicago's got a high school dropout rate. They've got drug problem. They've got gang problem. But they want to make legal gun owners, guys like me, the scapegoat," unquote, said Todd Vandermine, a National Rifle Association lobbyist who works in Springfield. He said this is an unfair tax on a constitutional right that will hurt the poor. Quote, "It is another way to enact a Jim Crow law and keep people from exercising their constitutional right," unquote, he said. Quote, "All you're doing is jacking up the price of guns and ammunition for someone who can at least afford it," unquote, he said. Quote, "The problem with something like this is that you're hurting people who don't have the ability to get out of Cook County. So if you have someone in Englewood, they have to venture out to DuPage County, to Will County. I don't think so," unquote. While no such tax exists in Illinois, experts say Tennessee has an ammunition tax. Right now, guns and ammunition sold across the country are subject to a federal excise tax that funds conservation projects. In Illinois, the local sales tax rate is applied to such purchases. Two bills are in the hopper in the Illinois state legislature. HB 5167 and HB 1274 that would create an explicit tax on ammunition. Representative Kelly Cassidy, Democrat of Chicago and former rep and now Alderman Will Burns, 4th District, a Preckwinkle ally who holds her aldermanic seat, are the sponsors of this legislation, but both bills are currently parked at the House Rules Committee. Preckwinkle will announce her 2013 spending plan next week. Initially, she forecasted a $267 million deficit, but that has fallen to $115 million. The $152 million wiped off the books comes from the combination of cost-cutting, including several hundred vacant jobs on the books, and more revenues, including the hope that they can put poor and uninsured patients on the Medicare rolls next year as part of an early enrollment plan under Affordable Health Care Act. Now, see, live radio, phone rings, and yeah. Good thing for caller ID and voicemail, right? Contributing to that article was Dave McKinney. Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Chicago Sun-Times. I'm just breaking this down for you. Let me tell you something right now, and I'm going to be very, very, very blunt. There's this thing called the Second Amendment. There should be absolutely, positively, utterly no tax on guns, no tax on ammunition. Period. End of sentence. We have a Second Amendment in this country, and if I want to carry my weapon across state lines as well, then damn it, I'm going to do it. And if you don't like it, tough. But, had to get some water. But, let me tell you this. When Obama signed the National Defense Authorization Act, in the middle of the freaking night, or maybe, I don't know when it was signed. I don't know what time. I wasn't there. But when he signed it on December 31st, 2011, he virtually gutted and suspended the Constitution of the United States of America, literally putting at risk you and I. And because, get this, because of this little thing happening in Chicago, happening in Cook County, with this little thing that Michael Bloomberg, Nanny Bloomberg in New York City is doing with soft drinks and popcorn, with what's happening out in California, now in Nevada, and soon, I'm sure, in Arizona. Look what's happening, folks. Look what is happening. The noose is getting tighter around the sovereignty and the liberty and the freedom of the people of the United States of America. And what are you doing? What are you doing out there? People, what are you doing? You're watching that Honey Boo Boo crap? What are you doing? What are you doing? If I can get him on the show, I'm going to email him. I'm going to get Kerry Korn on the show. He was on LateNightInTheMidlands.com at Face the Facts. But I'm going to try to get him on the show and have him zero in on these little things. Yeah, I can do it too, but I'm looking at other things as well. So I'm going to try to get him on the show. But I'm going to tell you something. We have a Second Amendment. You know what? That overrides every single thing, every other state constitution in the nation. The federal United States Constitution and Bill of Rights of the United States of America. I know I was repetitive there. So what? I'm emphasizing the fact that our founding fathers put together a document protecting our God-given rights to be who we are and to be free and liberated from a tyrannical government. The Second Amendment is there to help us keep a tyrannical government on our own soil, away from us, and in line. That's what the Second Amendment is there for. If you don't know that or understand that, or if you disagree with that, please go do some history or research in history. You people have absolutely no idea what true history will tell you. Not this crap that's currently in the books right now. That crap is revisionist history, refined and redefined and revised over and over and over. Nobody knows what the hell that is anymore. Go read the original documents. Go to your, there's this building called a library in your town. Go check it out. It'll help you. I know I get frustrated. You're listening to the Views Expressed for the 9th of October 2012. You're listening to the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com.
Pay attention, son.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Have you heard about a show called Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri? It's a talk show. Well, it's called Grab Bag Potpourri for a reason. They talk about everything under the sun, from education to politics, from lines at the cashier in the stores to parking lot drivers not paying attention. You want real radio? Well, you don't get any more real than that. That's Diane and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri talk show. Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of fun.
We went to the streets to ask people, what do you like about Doc FM?
Oh, well, I think he's sexy. He has a very sexy voice, and he makes my headphones tingle.
I think the doctor is very smart. Everything he tells you, you must learn it, because it is smartness to know. Plus, he plays my favorite music. He plays like the 80s and the 70s and the 44s and the 62s.
J'ai pas eu une seule occasion de rester sans rien faire depuis que je suis arrivé à Camelot. Je suis trop occupé à courir derrière Arthur. Fais ci Merlin, fais ça Merlin. Et quand je cours pas derrière Arthur, je fais des corvées pour vous. Et quand je fais pas ça, j'accomplis mon...
Doc FM on Spreaker.com.
Well, it's no secret that Doctor won't play none of that countrified music, so I don't really listen to him that much, but when I do, it's a hoedown. The first time that I listened to the Doctor, he was making fun of the British. After I got over my attitude, I came back and listened to him. He's wonderful and raucous.
Listen to Doc FM.
Oops, made a mistake. It happens. You're listening to the Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, behind enemy lines in FEMA, Region 9. Yes. Halloween is coming up. You parents should take a walk with your kids. If you do, check all the candy. Okay? Just a little PSA from me. We got Halloween coming up in about 21 days, 22 days. So, hey, just want to get a jump on the thing. You know what I mean? It's Halloween. It's Halloween, eh? Yes, it's Halloween. Isn't that creepy? I want to get into a little something. And now, this whole thing about what's happening in the world and all this, that, and the other thing, it should get you mad. Because moms, dads, hello, I'm talking to you. Why are you allowing our government, Washington, D.C., who is obligated to protect our land, our shores, from enemies foreign and domestic, why are you allowing them to send your boys or girls overseas? Why? When you know darn well it's not for the protection of the United States of America. When you know darn well that the globalists have your kids as slaves and fodder for any war that they create from a false flag event. Parents, I know you're not dumb. You can put two and two together, can't you? So then, on that note, parents, why are you allowing our government to, quote-unquote, invite other militaries over to the United States? The Pakistani military, the Israeli military, all of the Mexico, Canada, Saudi. Why? Why are you allowing this? Why are we all allowing this? Parents, your kids who are in the military, they're overseas. They're not protecting the United States of America. The enemy is already here and has been here for well over 18 months. And you're going to allow this? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just something to think about, Just something. So anyway, looking at everything, I'm going to give you a program note coming up this Friday. I know this is Tuesday. Coming up this Friday, we have the one and only Peter Kling with us on the show to break down some things from a scientific, biblical fashion, from a view from a scientist, from a view from a biblical scholar. Okay? So we're going to do that because this is the Views Expressed. We can talk about anything. We're going to relate some of that and hopefully connect the dots as to what's going on, where, why, who is putting all this together. So we're going to have Peter Kling on the show October 12th, this Friday from 4 p.m., starting at 4 p.m. Pacific. He'll stay as long as he likes. The show is only 2 hours, so we may do a little bit of overdrive, but not sure. And then, of course, on October 19th, that would be next Friday, we have the one and only Angel Clark from The Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us. We'll have her on the Views Expressed for 30 minutes, and we'll hear from her. And, of course, on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, on October 26th, we will have author and radio host Marie D. Jones. And closer it gets to those shows, the more I will tell you about them. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there. If you have any ideas, any guests, anything, or if you want to be a guest on the show, that's cool too. That's all right. Email us here, Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. If you happen to be over on YouTube and you look up ULC Rev 62, you will see my channel, and these shows automatically go over to YouTube, so you might want to check that out as well. And I know I get notifications from them, but anyway, check out YouTube. Check out Pastor Lindsey Williams, the segment when he was on Alex Jones Today. It's up here on Spreaker.com. on my page. Go check it out. In the meantime, we're going to take coming up here in just a few seconds, we're going to take a little 30-second Spreaker break. Just want to get the Spreaker breaks in there as much as I possibly can. This is the Views Expressed, Liberty and Freedom Network on Spreaker.com. I am here. Yes, no music. I am back. I want to give you some news here about a couple of other shows that you can hear on Spreaker.com, as well as my shows. And the shows that I host here are the Views Expressed, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I also host Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. We talk about everything under the sun. You can email us at grabbagshow@usa.com. That's grabbagshow@usa.com. I also host another show, usually on Saturday nights. It all depends on how we feel. It's not much of a weekly show, but it's on occasionally, and it's called The Unnamed Show with myself and my co-host there, Reverend Laura Clemens. We talk about everything under the sun. We sometimes have it on Sundays, so keep checking back here on my site here on Spreaker and find out when those shows are on. Also, go on over and check out MobsterBossRadio.com. JD, Sonny, Lester, Guy, they're all over there. And check it out. If it's not your cup of tea, then don't check it out. But they're also here on Spreaker.com as well. Mobster Boss Radio Live. Check that out. Also, go check out, he was in the chat room earlier today, go check out PRT, Paranormal Talk, with Philip Pierce over there. And you can go to prtparanormaltalk.weebly.com. That's Weebly, WEEBLY.com. Go check that out. He's also on Youron.net, YOUREON.net, PRT Paranormal Talk. There's a lot of shows here on Spreaker. There's just so many shows to choose from. If you don't like one, you might like another. If you don't like this show, you might like something else. I'm not here to give you the warm and fuzzies. I'm here to give you the facts. I'm here to give you the truth. I'm here to give you whatever it is I can give you, break it down for you so you can understand it. I'm not here to give you the answers, because the process to achieve those answers is where you learn. And I'm always encouraging people to go out and dig this information up themselves and check it out. I learned a long time ago in school that just because someone gives me the answer doesn't really tell me how the answer got there. And that's why early on in elementary school and junior high school, I was constantly looking and reading and investigating and researching and all of that. Why? Because I stopped asking questions. If I had the question in my head, I would go find the book related to that question and I would go look it up. I didn't have to ask my teacher. I didn't have to ask my classmates. I went and looked it up. Okay? I just encourage you to go over to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, click on the links, check it out yourself, and please, if I have made a mistake or overlooked something, I'm not wrong. I just overlooked something. I don't know everything, but if I am wrong, I will be the first in line to admit when I'm wrong. That's the bottom line. I mean, it really, really is. And if anybody says, hey, I'm right, and whatever, no, they're just being arrogant and thinking that they can get something from someone else by doing nothing, really. It happens. We've seen it. I mean, it's there. So if you have watched the debate last week, I can tell you that neither one of them are telling you the truth. None of them are telling you the truth. I'm just looking at, if you hear papers rustling here, I'm looking at something I got from pbs.org, and it's from, I don't know what year it's from, but George Bush was president, so I'm assuming it was the early 2000s. pbs.org/newshour/in-depth_coverage/terrorism/security-act.html. pbs.org/newshour/in-depth_coverage/terrorism/security-act.html. This is the whole schmear of what the Homeland Security is. The creation of the Homeland Security Department amounted to the largest overhaul of federal government in more than 50 years. This monumental task was aimed at considering much of the government's domestic anti-terrorism and protective services to ensure better coordination, development, and deployment. As a result of what happened at Katrina, remember that hurricane ripping through New Orleans? Congress passed the Homeland Security Act, creating the department in November of 2002. The move came some 5 months after President Bush urged the government to undertake, quote-unquote, dramatic reform to meet the terrorist threat in the wake of September 11, 2001 attacks in New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. According to the President's National Homeland Security Strategy published in July of 2002, the new department's main objectives are to guard the nation's borders, which they're not doing now, prevent domestic terrorist attacks, which they're pretty much using false flag events to do such, to create the domestic terrorist attacks, create a national defense strategy, which is broken, and reduce damage from national disasters and terrorist acts, which, of course, they've fallen down on the job on that one, haven't they? The new department employs 180,000 federal troops from our workers, troops too, from 22 existing federal agencies to perform a variety of security-related duties, from agriculture research to port safeguarding to disaster assistance. The administration has 1 year to complete the mammoth task of melding together the various federal agencies into a single department. President Bush officially inaugurated the department on January 24th with former Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge at its helm. He backed out of it about a year later or so. Ridge had previously served as Mr. Bush's domestic security advisor, having opened the White House first ever Homeland Security Department on September 21st, 2001. Oh, wow. Convenient. 10 days after their false flag attack on America to get us into Iraq. Wasn't that lovely? The new department will consist of 4 subagencies: Border and Transportation Security, which is broken, Emergency Preparedness, 1.5 billion bullets, shelters. Yeah, Ron Hubbard from what was it? survivalshelters.com or something like that. I gotta look it up now. But continuing, says here, from agriculture research to port safeguarding and disaster assistance, The administration has 1 year, and they developed it in 1 year. But get this, the new department will consist of 4 sub-agencies: Border and Transportation Security, 28,000 people killed on the border already. Emergency Preparedness, which, they've gotten shelters, underground shelters, all of that together, and it's there. Technology and Intelligence, drones flying over, 30,000 drones flying over America by 2015. The Coast Guard and Secret Service, 2 agencies transferred in from the Transportation and Treasury Departments, respectively, will now operate within the Homeland Security Department, but will function independently of its subdivisions. The department now includes 50 agencies, management, which oversees budget, human resources, and other personnel issues. Go check that out. It's at pbs.org/in-underscore coverage/terrorism/security-act.html. Now, this is the insanity coming out of Washington, D.C. The insanity and the criminal activity. George W. Bush didn't go into Iraq. He wanted to go in, but he says, well, we need a distraction. We need something. And so, in recent days, there has been someone saying that they needed false flag attacks to get us into war. So George Bush talked to several people. He said, yeah, we can do this. And within months, it was put together and implemented. Kind of a convenient little thing that the owner of the World Trade Center was out of the building and his family is all safe, and he put a $3.2 billion insurance policy on the towers. Hello. And that Vice President Cheney told the military to stand down, and of course there were drills going on, quote-unquote drills of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? 1,500 architects and engineers are not wrong. They told you how those buildings came down. A&E for 911truth.org. Go look it up. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm here, hopefully, to give you the information so that you can go look it up. That's all I'm just breaking it down for you, giving it to you. There you go. But the Homeland Security Department was formed only because of the fact that something had to be done, because of the fact that George W. Bush went into Iraq, created a false flag attack on the World Trade Center and Building 7 in Pennsylvania and all that, in the Pentagon as well. If you look at the Pentagon, it was shot by a missile, not a plane. And he did that to justify spending money to take the military in Iraq to finish the job his father didn't get done 20 years prior to that. Or 10 years prior to that, sorry. 10 years prior to that. I've talked to several people. As a matter of fact, I was living in Virginia City, Nevada in 1991, or 92 actually, and I talked to a former Navy personnel. And to this day, I forgot his name, so is it relevant? Yes. I've talked to several people after that when I moved to California and was there researching and doing all of that. And I've talked to several people who are former military, former Navy, former Air Force, Marines, who have said that this one person up here in Virginia City years ago told me he saw a little dot in his radar screen. He asked his CO at the time, his supervisor at the time, what is that? And his boss said, that's Saddam Hussein. And this guy was telling me, he goes, well, can't we take him out now? And he goes, no, I got to get word from the president. That was George H.W. Bush that was president. And he didn't take him out. Why? Well, Why else wouldn't he take them out? The Bushes are oil. How much money do you think they made after taking Saddam Hussein out of power and sending over those people to get the oil from there? How much money do you think he made? Okay? By the way, little side note, George H.W. Bush and the Bin Laden family knew each other. Go check it out. Yeah. The Bin Laden family is into construction. Okay? How do you think all those bases were built in the Middle East? Huh? Go check it out. If I'm wrong, please send me the information. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. I don't know what else to tell you people. I really don't. I can go, I've got stuff I'm going to talk about tomorrow, and it's on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, because I didn't get to it today. So please come back and check it out. If you follow this show on Spreaker, please let me know. Email me, Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. And let me know, hey, I'm following your show, I want to know more, how can I, whatever. If you want to be a guest on the show, we can arrange that. That's cool. We can do that. This Friday, we have Open Forum Friday, but I have a guest, and it's Peter Kling. We're going to talk about some stuff that's happening around the world, and some of his scientific findings and biblical sources that he has. You know, so it's Open Forum Friday. I'll tell you more about that later. Just let you know that on Fridays, when we have Open Forum Fridays, I will tell you whether or not I'll have the, a way for you to call in. Peter Kling will be calling in, and because of Skype, I can't handle too many calls. I tried, and it crashed the whole system, so I can probably only handle about 2. So the person that calls in, the guest and somebody else, but other than that, it's pretty limited, so that's why I don't always say call in. So the best thing for you to do on Open Forum Fridays is jump in the chat room on Spreaker and ask your question or give me some rundown on what's happening. Or the day before, you can email me and say, hey, I'm going to be on the show. Maybe you can talk about this. If I don't show up, here's what I've got, and send me your information. Send it to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. I really like hearing from people. And by the way, you can email me directly at the show at freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's my personal email address for the show, freeamericaradio@usa.com. There's just so much, man. The show is 2 hours. I'm thinking if I have more information, I can't do it today, but maybe if I have more information, we do go into another half hour of the show, but I don't usually like doing that because, you talk so much and you start losing your voice. So, it's well, I gotta watch, man. I gotta watch what I do, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, hey, it's been fun. It's been great. It's been great fun. Remember, this Friday, Peter Kling will be on the show. Next Friday, October 19th, we will have Angel Clark from The Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us. And the following week, we will have Marie D. Jones on the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Please check that out. Would love it. I'm going to put that up on the website. Check out the website over on the right-hand side. I got a book, Many Directions of Man. Please pick it up. Thank you. On the left-hand side, I have a donate button. You can donate as much as you want. This is listener-supported online radio. And I also have a store. Go click on that and promote your patriotism, if you will. And please come join me tomorrow on the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. We're all one on this planet. We may not agree with one another all the time, and that's okay. That's all right. We don't have to all agree on everything, okay? Remember this, though. I'm sure you can agree on this. We, the people, have the power, for we are America.